Within the next 90 days, you could become an entirely different person. 3 months of absolute consistency can reconstruct your entire internal structure, not in theory, but in reality. A transformation in your posture, your voice, your gaze, and the way you face pressure. Push through hesitation and hold your head high in the face of challenges. If you're truly serious about making the next 90 days the most powerful, most disciplined, and most transformative season of your life, you won't just skim through this. You will study it, digest it, practice it, and live with it step by step. Because this isn't for those seeking quick motivation. This isn't a spiritual pick-me-up to get excited for a few hours. This is a battlefield, a non-negotiable declaration of war against your old self, against the habits that kept you stuck, against the excuses you recycle every day as if they were facts. Just one decision, one single commitment. You either go all in or you settle for mediocrity. There is no gray area in between. 3 months from now, the version of you who constantly doubted, procrastinated, and stared at a screen to avoid taking action will no longer exist. In their place will stand someone sharper, stronger, decisive, focused. A builder, a finisher, the true force that emerged from within you. This is not a dream. This is a choice. A clear, firm, and resolute choice, not to feel better, but to radically change. 3 months of absolute consistency can reconstruct your entire internal structure, enough to let small victories snowball into unstoppable momentum. Enough for you to rise above the 99% who are still drifting through life, fooling themselves into thinking that someday is an actual plan. That nothing will happen unless you lock yourself in, unless you eliminate distraction, unless you burn all your exits and treat these 90 days as your final chance to prove that you can do it. You've said before that you were ready. You've declared it many times. But this time, you have to prove it through action. No more promises, no more feelings, no more waiting for perfection. If you're truly serious, mark this moment in time, the moment you begin rewriting your entire life with the pen of discipline. Not writing on paper, but engraving it into your nervous system, your identity, your daily behavior. And this is the starting line. This is the moment you burn the old blueprint, the one filled with stagnant habits, limiting thoughts, and cycles of excuses. You will not draft a new plan from broken fragments. You will start from zero, but a zero with intention, with fire, with razor-sharp focus. Someone who has truly decided does not leave a backup plan. They don't keep an escape route. They don't tuck a return ticket to their old self in their back pocket. They shut every exit and declare, I'm not going back, I'm only moving forward. That is the beginning of transformation, not in the future, but right here, right now. For the next 90 days, your life will become narrower, but also sharper. No more wandering among choices. No more being pulled in 1,000 directions. You will live like a blade forged in fire, focused, persistent, and unyielding. With each passing day, you stack up living proof that you are no longer the person you used to be. And bit by bit, your brain will begin to believe it. This isn't about spirit, this is neuroscience. Your brain operates by patterns, by repetition. Every action you repeat carves a groove into your mind. Do it once, nothing changes. Do it twice, it starts to remember. Do it for 90 days, without interruption, without excuse, without negotiation. It becomes your new identity. Once your identity has shifted, you no longer need to try. You become. Waking up early is no longer a goal. It's just what you do. Going all in is no longer a mantra. It's your way of life. Discipline is no longer something you struggle to maintain. It's your default standard. And that's why 90 days isn't just time to try something. It's long enough to become someone entirely new. Let's be honest. This is not emotional hype. This is physics. This is momentum. This is inertia. The reason most people never create lasting drive is because they keep resetting, They start, then stop. They make it a few days, then give up. They fall into a cycle of resetting, starting over as if chasing a new spark. They wait for inspiration, not realizing that motivation is a liar. Discipline, that is the truth. Because discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't check the weather or what your friends are doing. Discipline only knows one direction: forward. And that is the line between the ones who stay in the warm-up phase and those who actually rise. But to reach that threshold, you have to pass through pain, friction, and the sense that nothing is working. That's the barrier most people never cross. But I want you to remember this. Resistance is not your enemy. It's a signal. It's the sign that you are evolving. Muscles cannot grow without tension. Skills cannot sharpen without repetition. And identity cannot shift without emotional impact. So when it gets hard, when you feel like quitting, when your old habits begin whispering back, understand this. That is the edge. That's where most people stop, but not you. Because you've made a decision, and a true decision doesn't come from emotion. It comes from something higher. A burning desire to become someone who never turns back. You will not change if, in the back of your mind, there is still an escape route. That could be a tomorrow, a just this once, a maybe I'll start later. It might sound harmless, but those open doors are silently draining your resolve. Because as long as you know you have a way back, you'll never walk the path all the way forward. Your old self, however weak or prone to procrastination, it will constantly try to pull you back into your comfort zone, where you don't have to face hardship, where you don't have to push yourself, where everything feels familiar. And of course, nothing ever changes. If you are truly serious about transformation, you must burn those bridges. You must make retreat impossible. You must eliminate all alternate scripts. No more plan B. No more let's just try and see. No more if this doesn't work, I'll go back to where I started. Because the moment you keep an escape route, you've silently compromised with failure. Those who are truly determined leave no way out. They don't keep a return ticket in their back pocket. They don't leave the door ajar. They wipe out every option except forward. And because of that, they become someone new, not tomorrow, right now. No more I hope it'll be different, only I'm creating the difference. That's why during these 90 days, your life needs to be narrowed, not to limit you, but to sharpen you, not to do less, but to go deeper, more deliberately, with purpose. You will choose to live like a laser beam, not spreading energy in every direction, but focusing it on one target with full intensity. With each passing day, you'll accumulate proof that you are becoming a new version of yourself, and the brain, programmed by repetition, cannot deny what you prove to it daily. It doesn't argue with logic. It only remembers consistency. Each time you choose the right action, even the smallest step, you carve a new groove in your mind. One time may not make a difference. 2 times begin to leave a trace, but doing it without interruption for 90 days, without apology, without excuse, without negotiation, you reshape your entire identity. And once identity changes, you no longer have to try. You become. You don't need to remind yourself to stay consistent, because consistency is who you are. You don't need an alarm to wake up early, because waking early is what you do. You no longer hesitate between comfort and discipline, because discipline has become your default standard. That is why 90 days is not an experiment. It is the mold that forges the new you. And if you still think this is just inspiration, let me be clear. This is neuroscience. This is the physics of action, the law of inertia, the simple truth that movement creates momentum. Momentum creates power, and power turns difficulty into instinct. That's why you see some people working relentlessly without burnout, training without force, continuing when most give up. They're not superhuman. They've simply passed a threshold where behavior no longer fights old instincts, but is absorbed into the new identity. But to reach that threshold, you must walk through resistance. You must enter the phase where everything feels stagnant. That's where most people quit. That's where you must be strongest. And at that very point, you'll hear the familiar voice from within. I'm too tired. One day off won't hurt. This isn't working. Try something else. Why are you even doing this? That's not your truth speaking. That's your old self trying to pull you back. But if you remember this, you won't fall. Resistance is not the enemy. It's the signal. When it shows up, it means you are changing. It means you are touching something you've never had the endurance to reach before. And if you break through that first layer of resistance, what lies ahead will be the greatest reward. You begin to believe in yourself. Just as muscle only grows when placed under tension, just as intelligence only sharpens when honed through repetition, identity, too, demands emotional friction, exhaustion, and internal struggle. No one wakes up transformed overnight, but everyone can begin, as long as they dare to burn the escape route. When you refuse to retreat, the brain is forced to move forward. When you refuse to make excuses, the body is forced into action. When you erase the second option, your subconscious has no choice but to adapt to the only one left: forward. And from that moment, everything begins to change. Not because the world around you shifts, but because you are no longer the same. When you lock in, when you trap yourself in an unbreakable commitment, you are rewriting your internal operating system. And the miracle will not come from emotion, but from uninterrupted repetition. Small actions done consistently and with resolve, one by one, will gradually destroy your inner doubt and construct an unshakable belief in a stronger version of yourself. Remember, your old self will not give up easily. Keep moving forward. One disciplined action a day, one solid step, one right choice.